Welcome to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success. I'm also excited to share my book, Straight from the Admissions Office, a review of my biggest takeaways from the first few hundred podcast episodes. It's packed with direct insights from admissions professionals and practical tips to help students and their families navigate the college admissions process. You can find all of the information in the show notes. Welcome to The Cap, where we are here to speak with college reps and other professionals in the field of college admissions to help answer all your questions and guide you through every step of the process. So if you're serious about college admissions, you've come to the right place. Are you ready? Let's talk about it. And now, here's your host, Dr. John Durante. Welcome to The Cap, the College Admissions Process Podcast. I am your host, John Durante, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today Ashley Holdridge, who's a Regional Assistant Director for the College of Charleston. Now, we had the College of Charleston back on episode 195, which was released back in March of 2024. Ashley, I'm so grateful to have you on the podcast so that we could get a refresher on the awesome College of Charleston. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's very exciting to be here, and I'm happy to chat with you guys all about the College of Charleston, the admissions process, and really how I can aid students moving forward.
Well, we really appreciate that, and thank you again for coming on. And so let's get right to it. Ashley, to begin, how would you describe the College of Charleston academically, socially, and geographically? And what do you think is driving its growing popularity among students from the Northeast for sure, which is where I'm from, but also beyond?
Yeah, sure. So the College of Charleston is truly unlike any other. Our community on campus is what stands out the most to me. Everyone has been so welcoming throughout my learning experiences in my role in the admissions office, and I see the same enthusiasm for our inquiring students. Academically, our professors and support staff are active on having an individualized approach to connecting with our students. This starts from your academic advisor aiding in your class registration to our walk-in career center, where students ask all of the questions they have about the underlying meaning of what happens next. Socially, there are many events on campus that students enjoy all throughout the school year, along with over 240 clubs and organizations to be a part of. There are endless things to do for everyone of all interests. Coming from out of state, sometimes it can be pretty intimidating, although I can assure you that there are your people at the college. With over 10,000 students, there's so many people to make lifelong friends with and to enjoy your time with. Geographically, you are in the center of, arguably one of the most beautiful cities in the U.S. There are so many different community events like farmers markets, King Street, museums, the food scene, never mind the beaches. So I would still recommend the College of Charleston, even if it weren't in such a major city, but that definitely is a great perk.
Well, that's terrific. You talk about how academically you have an individualized approach for all your students, including on the social end of things, where you have over 240 clubs with endless events to meet everybody's needs. And then, of course, location. The great College of Charleston is absolutely in one of the most beautiful cities that we have in the United States and beyond. So, Ashley, Charleston blends a liberal arts foundation with career-focused pathways. Can you walk us through some of the College of Charleston's signature academic programs, especially in areas like marine biology, business, education, and the arts, and how they shape the student experience both inside and outside of those awesome classrooms?
Yeah, so being within a liberal arts foundation, we encourage students to explore all of their academic interests. In life after college, while I hope every student lands on exactly what they would like to do, sometimes, and I'm sure you know, things don't always go as planned. So considering this, we really do help our students in developing those so-called soft skills that can help young professionals ensure that they have an open mind and can talk to others with different interests. Another component about liberal arts that is lesser known is the dynamics in the classroom. So classrooms may not always look the same. Maybe even sometimes they're outside the classroom, touring a facility with our School of Business, or interning with the Charleston Music Hall as an art student, or even working on the water as a marine bio major. These are just some of the opportunities that our community has, and I really wish that I knew all of them, but every student has different aspirations and it looks different for everybody, and we recognize and embrace that.
Well, you definitely embrace it. I know quite a few students that are currently there and who have graduated and nothing but amazing things to say about the awesome College of Charleston. But I know that our listeners, Ashley, they're very interested in hearing about this thing called the admissions process. So let's talk about that, the admissions process. How does the College of Charleston review applications holistically? And what are some elements of a student's application that tend to really stand out during your team's review?
Yeah. So we pride ourselves on our holistic approach to the application process, as not only one person is reading an application. Everybody is reviewed as a committee. I always say for a better understanding when we look at students is we see them through two different lenses. So we look at students, yes, on their academic side, because that is part of school, paying attention to their grade trends, academic rigor, course selection, their performance, all while still taking into consideration the school's profile, as every school system is a little bit different. In the other lens, I say it's everything aside from being a student. So things like extracurricular involvement, their essays are both two major components. In extracurriculars, I always emphasize to students that we are looking for quality versus quantity. We know that if you are, like, we want to see that you're involved in your community and starting to grow in characteristics like responsibility, leadership, and those kind of desirable traits. And lastly, essays, which can be difficult to write for the students on their side, can also be difficult to review on the admission side as we don't have like a rubric to go by. The main pieces that we look for as a whole is if we can sense who the student is as a person, along with if we can see that they're prepared to write at a college level. And between those two lenses, our committee makes a decision for the student's admission.
Well, that's terrific. You're pointing to two main things. You're looking at the academics and the extracurriculars, or what students did outside of the classroom. I love it when talking about the academics that you pointed to the fact that you're looking at the school profile. So you're reviewing students based on the context of what was available at their high school. And I also appreciate when you talked about the extracurriculars, how you talked about quality versus quantity. Once again, I'm going to repeat that because I think it's really important. Too many students think that they have to have 12, 15 things listed, even though the Common App only allows 10. But with the extracurricular students, it's very important to show quality over that quantity. Now, you touched upon it a little bit in your answer, Ashley, but what role does the personal statement play in your application review? And are there specific qualities, values, or life experiences you're hoping to understand better through a student's writing sample?
I find that many students are torn with the thought of writing a personal statement. Therefore, I'm really happy that you asked this question. Personal statements are like the concept of an open comment. If a student had a rough academic year, it would be really helpful for us to kind of see that context of their performance. So the personal statement section is a great place to be able to highlight this adversity. Another way for students to see, or another way for the admissions reps to see the students through their personal statement is maybe getting a little bit more context on a passion that they have within their extracurriculars, or an experience that helped them grow and push through themselves academically. There's no rule per se to personal statements, although it is important to make sure that whatever you are saying is still relevant to your college application.
Absolutely. And of course, transitioning from high school to college can be a big leap for many students, especially when they're coming from out of state. Ashley, can you highlight some of the standout support systems like the first year experience, advising, or even peer mentoring that help students find their footing and thrive on your beautiful campus?
Yeah, definitely. So transitioning from high school to college can have a significant change to a student's routine, and we recognize that. So the College of Charleston has resources to help students navigate that experience. One of my personal favorites is actually our first year experience program. While I had not attended the College of Charleston, my alma mater had a very similar principle to that structure. In quick terms, it teaches you how to be a college student. So covering the topics like academic integrity, embracing the liberal arts education, understanding all the campus has to offer are major components in feeling comfortable and successful in a college environment. Many of the questions that I receive from students are things that they can also ask in their first year experience classes, like how am I supposed to connect to Wi-Fi? What are the dining hall hours? Like how do I have mom and dad put more money on my Cougar card? Like those kinds of questions, which are a great forum of expertise for that first year experience program. We do also have academic advising. I touched a little bit about it earlier, but one of the components that I love specifically with ours is they put on a majors and minors fair in the fall, so students can really explore those opportunities themselves. Whether you are a freshman or a senior, it allows you to really see like what there is out there for not only majors and minors, but also like if you have room in your schedule to add an extra minor when you're a junior. So it allows you to see that kind of versatility as well. Lastly, we have lots of opportunities for peer mentoring on both the academic side and the social emotional side. One of these is Students for Support, which is a student organization that has highly trained peer volunteers available to chat, listen, and assist you with any concerns, frustrations, whether that's personal, academically, or socially.
Well, that's terrific, Ashley. Thank you so much. And many families are also curious about how this thing called the waitlist works. So, how does the College of Charleston approach waitlist decisions? And is there anything students can do to improve their chances if they're placed on that waitlist?
Yeah, so every year expectations do vary from the wait list as each year has different applicants. So we have a steady increase in applications this past year, which has made our applicant pool more competitive than it has before. So something consistent from year to year that I would recommend for waitlisted students, or honestly even deferred students in the earlier rounds, would be to stay connected with your admissions representative once receiving your decision. If you're specifically from New York or Connecticut, like that would be with myself, we as an academic or admissions office would be able to provide you with the best advice to put your best foot forward in separating yourself from others in the similar scenarios.
Well, I appreciate you talking to the fact how important it is to reach out to your regional representative. It's actually one of the reasons why I decided to come up with the podcast, because when I was helping my own daughters through it a couple of years back now, the reps were so awesome and open to answering any and all of our questions. And so it prompted the idea of the podcast. So again, I appreciate you mentioning that, Ashley. Ashley, is there a question I didn't ask that you wish more students and families would ask when exploring the College of Charleston or any college in general?
This isn't necessarily a question you haven't asked, although more of a recommendation to students and families when searching for schools. Many times at college fairs and sometimes even high school visits, I am asked many statistical questions, which in many circumstances can be very helpful to understand the history and the success of an institution. Although in these types of settings, it is important to have the students and families learn about what their experience will be. So an example of this at a larger scale would be, instead of asking a question about an acceptance rate, rephrasing it to focus back onto the student. So questions like, what are the components of an application that your admissions office looks for? Or how can I set myself apart from other students in the application process? It can provide you a better answer for your student and how to move forward in that helpful knowledge.
Well, I appreciate that advice. How can I set myself apart as a student? Because again, rather than asking just a typical statistical question, put it back on yourself, students, in terms of how you could differentiate yourself in a very competitive application pool. So that's great advice. And so this has been an incredible and insightful conversation. Thank you so much, Ashley. But before we wrap up, is there anything that we didn't cover today? In other words, is there a question that I didn't ask that you wish I had, or simply a topic that just didn't come up in this awesome conversation that you'd like to share with our listeners now?
Of course. Thank you for having me again. This has been an incredible experience. I have enjoyed speaking to you about all these great things with the College of Charleston and the admissions process. I do want to recognize that the admissions process, while it is second nature to us as professionals that live it from day to day, it does come with lots of excitement, and there's also a lot of anxiety from unanswered questions. So as an admissions counselor's role, it is to help students throughout this process, whether that's connecting them with resources on campus or sometimes even advocating for them by sharing knowledge of the student to a committee review. So many of us at admissions, in the admissions world, start off just as nervous as students can be. And I know for me, it is so rewarding to give back to students and encouraging them to enjoy the time in their life, as there is lots of fun and exciting things in store.
Well, that's awesome. And I know that you definitely give back day in, day out, year in and year out. And it was great to see you last spring, actually, at a college fair. And now here we are having this conversation to share with so many students, families, and even many counselors who are listening to the podcast. So again, Ashley, we appreciate you coming on. You were awesome. Unfortunately, it does lead us to that last question, which always is, what are your top 3 pieces of advice for students and families just starting their college admissions journey, particularly those exploring schools beyond their immediate geographic comfort zone, like the College of Charleston for so many people that are obviously out of state?
Yeah. So first, I always recommend to students, no matter where I am, to visit all the campuses you can, even if it's just the local ones close to your home or schools that you don't initially have interest in, because it is important to find the things that you want from a college, yes, but it's also important to figure out the things that you don't. So, secondly, this is more advice for when students start college, is you will develop this false sense of free time. So you'll have your classes for like 2 hours a day, or maybe even a little more than that, maybe even less than that. And you think you have a lot more time than you actually do in your schedule. So just know that it is still important to prioritize your work outside the classroom just as it is inside the classroom when it comes to academics. And then lastly, give yourself and your loved ones some grace during this time, as there is large emotions that come with the college search and admissions process. As I work with students from Connecticut and New York, I have found students going far or staying close have loved ones who miss them no matter how far the distance may be.
Well, those are tremendous pieces of advice. And I love how you talked about prioritizing your time, because definitely the class schedules on a college campus are far different than what might be an 8-period day or a 9-period day in the many high schools that the students are coming from. Ashley, this was awesome, as I knew it would be. Thank you so much. I look forward to having you again in the future.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. Thank you again for this opportunity.
The pleasure was all ours. Thank you again. And to everyone out there, good luck with the college search. Take care all, and best wishes.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The CAP, the College Admissions Process Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please don't forget to tell a friend. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I am your host, John Durante, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The CAP. Thank you for listening to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success.